Stephanie Green was a member of the Northwest Christian University cross country and track and field teams from 2008 to 2013 and produced one of the most decorated and record-setting careers in history. Among her many honors, Stephanie was a 3-time NAIA All-American, 6-time All-Cascade Conference runner, and 3-time Cascade Conference Champion. In cross-country, Green earned 3 all-conference honors and notably helped guide the Beacons to a 4th-place finish at the 2011 NAIA National Championship. Her best conference finish was in 2011, when she took 6th place before going on to take 20th at the NAIA Championships to earn All-American honors. On the track was where Green truly shined as one of the best in NCU history. She was a 3-time conference champion in the 10,000-meter race, and in 2011 set a Cascade Conference Championship record of 36 minutes, 45.20 seconds, and a mark that has stood for 13 years. Her own school record of 35 minutes, 31.74 seconds was set 2 years later at the Linfield Icebreaker, and she owns 6 of the top 10 10K times in school history. Green earned a pair of All-American honors in the 10,000 meters, taking 7th place in 2012 before finishing as the NAIA National Runner-Up in 2013. Green was also an accomplished student athlete in the classroom, earning numerous academic awards, including 5 NAIA Daktronics Scholar Athlete honors. The business administration major finished her studies with a 3.9 GPA and was one of NCU's inaugural inductees into Chi Alpha Sigma, the National Student Athlete Honor Society. She was also a co-SIDA Capital One First Team Academic All-American selection in 2012 and 2013.
Well, I'm back. In case you don't know, no, I'm just kidding. It's an incredible honor to induct a second athlete into the Hall of Fame. Stephanie. When I first saw Stephanie race, I instantly knew she was going to be one of the toughest people I'd ever met. I will never forget freshman year, and you heard about their cross-country season freshman year, but their track season, when they gained some momentum, and we'd gone up to the Willamette meet, and I had just finished this long conversation with then U of O head cross-country track coach Tom Heineman about how, it's hard to start up a team, and it's hard to teach your athletes to run when there's nobody that's really done it before them or done it faster than them. There's no one for them to chase or to look up to. And Stephanie was entered in the 5,000, and after not having broken 19 or even actually come close to it, she ran an 18:31 5K. Like yesterday, I remember talking to her before the race, and she started and she had set herself a goal. She's like, I'm gonna run this time. And then she did it 12 and a half times to finish the 5K. Just went for it. I'll never forget Tom Heineman, the Euro coach, coming up to me after the race, running towards me. He was so excited for me with tears in his eyes, he almost tripped over the little pole vault pit. He gave me a hug and he said, you've got yourself an athlete. Steph also collected an award while at NCU that really wasn't one that athletes usually strive to receive. The Athletic Perseverance Award, given out by the athletic trainers. Steph had a lot of times where we had to be creative with her training, how to work around issues that we could never really quite diagnose. But she was completely undeterred. She knew exactly how fast she could run. It was her calf that was bothering her. She knew exactly how fast she could go before that calf would give her trouble. One of the races you saw up here the Linfield Icebreaker. This was after Steph had graduated and she was running still in graduate school. She had that down to such a science that she knew she could run a 5:40 minute a mile pace. And her calf would be like just okay. And it wouldn't start hurting until the last part of the race. So she went out at a 5:40 pace and did that 25 times around the lap, around the track. You could see she was in excruciating pain, not right away, but after a while. But she ran that phenomenal 31 10K that still stands as a school record, almost 15 years later. That year, Steph was in grad school and actually spent a lot of time training at home. There wasn't super great places to run, so she spent a lot of time training on the treadmill. If you've ever run on a treadmill, you'll know why I call it treadmill. It takes determination. It's awful. I never added up how many miles she spent on that thing, but it was probably upwards of about 800. Wow. It's fun now to see her and Crosby, who was an incredibly talented member of the men's team at the time, also here at NCU, and to get glimpses of Drake and Ivy, and now growing up, them being wonderful parents. And a couple of months ago, I was talking to Steph on the phone, and she told me that her sweet little girl, Ivy, was excited to play on the treadmill, and then she saw Mom turn on the treadmill and use it. And she was so excited that she ran and told Dad that Mom knew how to use the treadmill. Ivy, you have no idea your mom knows how to use that treadmill like a boss. She trained for a national runner-up finish on that thing. Stephanie, it is my absolute pleasure to have you up here and induct you into the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you. It feels really strange to be up here being celebrated for something I did so long ago. It feels so far from now. But I appreciate the honor, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to thank a few people while I'm up here. Really, there's so many people to thank. Really just thankful that God placed me here with these people and all these experiences. So no particular order here. But first, Britt, thank you for being my friend. Even though you didn't think we'd be friends. How special it was to get to go through college and running with such a great friend. So many chats, lots of miles together, and I was truly just learning and running. And so it was so helpful to have Brittany out there showing me the ropes and all that confidence. I had no idea you were about to cry also. I thought that was just me. So you really showed off that confidence because I had no idea. She was a steady running partner who I knew I could always count on. We don't see each other as much these days as we would like, but it's still been fun to do some life together. Weddings, babies, birthday parties, our kids being friends, and soccer moms for a couple seasons. Just really grateful for you. Heike, thank you for taking a chance on me. You know I wasn't much of a runner before, mostly volleyball, basketball, some mild track, but Heike believed in me. I did think she was a little bit crazy when we first started. I came from a background of like 6 to 10 miles a week, doing a few high knees on the starting line before a race. And then I get there and she's talking about 10-mile runs on Saturdays and running 30 minutes before to warm up before a race. And I was wondering why we're running so much before we're supposed to be racing. But eventually, it did take long, and Heike helped me see the method behind the madness. When I was injured, she didn't give up on helping me find answers, even though it took years, and worked hard to modify workouts so that I could continue to train, which I really appreciated. Heike gave so much of her time and energy to us, her team, even doing things she didn't really like to do, like having to stand in the cold. I could see Heike freezing cold, bundled up on the backside of the track, cheering me on and feel the excitement she had for me and each of us when we would finish our race. I always appreciated Heike's easy smile and joyful laugh and the way she showed up for us, keeping us best every day. I also really appreciated our coach Dan. His encouragement early on when I was trying to figure out if I could become a runner was so helpful and motivating to me. He saw the possibilities and he saw my potential. He believed in me through injury and always had a post-race talk that meant a lot to me. And my team. I was fortunate to always have a great group of teammates while I was here. It was a group of girls who were kind, thoughtful, loving. I had teammates who truly wanted to see each other and see me succeed. And that's not always the case on a team. It was a group that would cheer you on through your highs and your lows in practice, races, and life. Like Britt said, we liked the guys' team as well. They were super supportive and added a lot of fun to our days and our practices. We wouldn't have been complete without them. My husband, Crosby, he was always one of my biggest supporters, always believing in me, much more than I believed in myself. I could count on him to cheer me on, but also talk realistic to me about races and running. Some people support others by just agreeing with them, but that wasn't us, and if you know Crosby, that's not him. And that's still us. He still supports me in whatever I do, it just looks a little different these days. It was special to get to share that time of our life together and to be able to reminisce now on all that time. One of my favorite things was getting to do our Saturday 10-mile runs together and then stopping for maple bars afterwards. No matter how running turned out, the greatest outcome was really just meeting my best friend. And I will say though, he does still think he deserves a little bit of the credit for my success, for being my motivation to wake up early in the morning and get those runs in. I was always very fortunate to have coaches growing up who taught me the value of discipline, hard work, and mental toughness. These coaches set me up for success that I was able to have in college as a runner and just in life. Ultimately, my greatest strength wasn't my ability as a runner, it was discipline and mental toughness. I owe a big thank you to my dad and my basketball coach, Mr. Davis, for helping me build that foundation and for the roles they played in shaping me in this way. I wouldn't have been here without you. Something I always remember my dad talking about before one of our basketball games in high school was the idea of operating in such a way that you'll regret nothing. To look back and say, I did all that I could. At the end of the day, to know that you used all that God gave you. Doing your best doesn't mean you are the best, but doing your best leaves you with nothing to regret. Your best might look different from one day to the next, but you can still give the best that you have on that day. In running and just in sports, there's plenty of disappointment. There was plenty of races that left me disappointed because my injury would keep my leg from cooperating or workouts had to be modified or had to run alone. Though I was often disappointed, I worked hard to leave no room to regret anything. Ultimately, you can be disappointed in your performance without regretting it because you gave the best that you can for that day. I leaned heavily on this piece of wisdom and I've always been thankful that my dad shared it. Speaking of my dad, I want to say thank you to my parents. I'm thankful to have parents who have lived a life of faith and a life that leaves nothing to regret, using the gifts that God gave them. Their lives have demonstrated how these values extend beyond sport and translate to success and a meaningful life in the real world. My parents have always showed up for me and have always supported me. They've always gone above and beyond, and they have always been looking out for others more than themselves. They've traveled lots of miles to watch me compete, and they've always been there. And not only for me, but seeing them care about and engage with my teammates was always something special to witness as well. I know how fortunate I am to call my parents. I was going to wrap this up with a story about Ivy, but Heike got me on that one. You're good. I'll just tell it again because that's how I viewed it. But a couple months ago, we got a new treadmill for the garage, and the kids were just so excited about it. Ivy was so proud to tell me that she knew how to use a treadmill. She had seen it on TV. I humored her and she asked her to show me, and she showed me her exaggerated arms and just pumping and going as fast as she could in place. Later, when I got out there for a run, it was like run, walk, post baby. I had the biggest cheerleaders out there standing there, like literally right next to the treadmill to watch me. So I started just by doing a little walk on an incline just to get going. And once I got up to speed, they were both beaming at me, so excited, so proud of me. Ivy excitedly took off into the house, shouting, Dad, come see, she's doing it. Nothing like being humbled by your kids, thinking that they need to teach me how to use a treadmill. All that to say, I clearly live a very different life now than I did then. Accomplishments and success look very different. This season I'm in, my kids are my accomplishments, and sometimes they keep me from accomplishing much else, but I do know they're my greatest work. And they challenge me to continue to use the values and mentality I strengthen through sports as I work to show up intentionally with my best each day. I'm so thankful for the lessons, experiences, and relationships gained through sports and through my time at NCU that led me to where I am now. Thank you again to each of you who have always supported me, and really just thank you again for this honor.